Welcome to Cross Transformation. It's Mariam here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about healing the impact of domestic violence. This one is a challenging one. I totally get it. It's very difficult to go back to those earlier memories, to release them, to heal them. It was very difficult for me. You see, as a child, I witnessed physical attacks, emotional maltreatment, verbal abuse. That house that I grew up in was a scary place. Maybe you grew up in a similar household to mine. You understand what I'm talking about, that fear, that anxiety. The abuse was ongoing almost every single night. And those memories kept becoming my own reality. And I just didn't want that to be my reality. I didn't want abuse to be the reality outside of me. Those toxic relationships. So deep down, I knew that I had to do the healing work, and it wasn't easy. It was horrifying. Thinking that I had to go back to that house to let go of those memories, my observations. And again, maybe you're experiencing the same thing. You keep seeing those memories outside of you in your current reality, manifested as toxic relationships, narcissistic partners, and you just have had enough. You just don't want them to become your reality anymore. I got to that point. I was at that point. Yet again, it was too scary to go back to that house. I would be feeling suffocated. The fear was paralyzing me. So I didn't know how to release those memories. I didn't know how to heal them. They were too scary, too loud. Just couldn't handle the whole process. Eventually, like anything else, I asked Jesus and I said, "What's your solution to this problem of mine?" And he said, instead of going back to those memories while having your emotions and feelings, those negative emotions and feelings attached to them, why don't you process them separately? That was interesting. What he was saying was to separate your emotions from the actual memory. That worked well. That was freedom in Christ. So what I did was I allowed those negative emotions and feelings to pass through me instead of going back to that house, witnessing those brutal attacks. So I allowed that anxiety to flow through me, that fear. It was such a good feeling. And every time that I did that work, I was seeing myself holding a cross in my hand, and that was so peaceful. So the first step was to handle those emotions. By doing that work, I got my ego out of the way. I was no longer identifying myself through those negative emotions and feelings. My identity wasn't attached to those negative emotions and feelings. And that was what Jesus wanted me to experience, that my identity was not in those negative emotions and feelings. Instead, my identity is always in Christ. And that realization was amazing. That arrival at who I am in Christ. So that's why when I would go back to that house, I was no longer struggling. I was no longer involved in those brutal attacks. I was no longer involved in what I witnessed. I didn't have my emotions and feelings attached to those observations. And then I began looking at those memories without being emotionally attached to them. And I saw them shrinking, becoming smaller. They didn't have the power to hurt me. They couldn't come forward with me anymore. The relief I felt was so amazing. As those memories became smaller, I was able to see Him on that cross. So powerful when we know who we are is in God, in Yahweh, in His Son. I was no longer stuck. I was able to move forward. My present reality was no longer impacted by what I witnessed as a child. So, if you are looking for a way to come out of those memories, the impact of domestic violence, step 1, process those emotions and feelings. Step 2, go back to the memory itself. Look at it and let it become smaller. Witness it as it becomes smaller, as it shrinks. Your identity is not in those memories, those brutal attacks. Your identity is in Christ. Free yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Keep going forward. You can do it. You're a beautiful child of God. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. We can do it. Keep going forward, guys. Don't give up on yourself. Jesus is with us. He is within us. And we are born to explore this amazing journey in Christ with God. Don't settle for a destination. Go after your destiny. Hopefully you'll find this video helpful. May you be blessed. Thank you for supporting the channel and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate that. Look after your precious soul. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.